What's up, gang? Case here with our strength work for Wednesday, October 14th for our in-gym program. We've got 4x3 power cleans and 4x3 push jerks. We're continuing our progression. We went from 4s last week down to 3s this week. So our goal is going to be to build a bit heavier by the end of these sets today. That said, know how your body's feeling, know how frequently you've been coming. How heavy you can go today is going to be dependent upon how fresh you're feeling, what that recovery, sleep, nutrition, stress, all that stuff looks like. So lift off feel. Don't freak out if you don't end up getting heavier this week than you did last week. Let's talk about some basics on our power cleans. Set up first. So if you take a step forward like you're going to jump and plant your feet naturally end up right beneath those hips. That's your most powerful position off the ground. So that's our stance for our power clean setup. When you approach that bar should be right over top of that front shoelace, still some distance between the shin and the bar. Hands a few inches outside the shins, hook grip. Take those two fingers, put them over top of the thumb. Then I want to pull those hips down, pull my shins towards the bar, eyes forward, everything tight here. And then as you guys separate, there's something I want you to work on. In this setup, our weight should actually be a bit forward. So full foot's on the ground, but that weight is pushed up towards the ball of the foot. That way, as I go to separate, I push the weight back into the heel, and now that bar has some room to move back, because I want that bar moving back into my hip on that trip up. So going over this again, pulling tight to the bar, weight just a bit forward. As I separate, I scoop back, bar gets glued to my thigh, I slide up my thigh into that power position, jump shrug with that long arm, elbows through. On that catch, make sure those feet are getting out to shoulder width and that we're catching up there on that shoulder shelf before we stand. On these reps today, set that bar all the way down to the ground, reset, double check on all those things we talked about in setup, hold that position for a moment, then separate and go. I want you guys to be a little slower from the ground to above the knee, and then once you get above the knee, that's when you're going to pick up speed as you slide that bar up your thigh. Moving on to our push jerks. Setup in that push jerk is the same. Feet are hip width. As we dip, knees are going to go wider than toes, and that chest should stay straight up and down. That way I can drive through my legs, throw that bar with my legs, and then as that bar is weightless, about forehead height, I'm punching myself beneath and then standing up. Last thing on that dip, I see people get a little toesy on this. Make sure that we stay back in the heels on that dip. We drive through our heels. You want to come up in the toe, or you will come up in the toe at that last moment. But sitting back in the heel, driving through the heel, finishing in the toe. So putting it together now with the barbell. Hands are just outside the shoulders, full grip. Elbows are not front rack, just slightly forward of the bar, but that bar is resting on that shoulder shelf. Think dip, drive, dip, punch under, bar finishes right over top of the back of the head, and stand. Don't forget to get that head back so we can give that bar a perfectly straight up and down bar path. We love these Olympic lifts because they work full body. They also work a broad spectrum of physical skills and abilities. We're training strength, power, speed, coordination, a little bit of everything with these lifts. Give me at least 4 warm-up sets today on your cleans and your jerks. A couple sets of 3, couple sets of 2, building up to that first working set. Then during those working sets today, 5 to 10 pound jumps between sets if it feels good. If you have a sloppy set or even a sloppy rep or 2 during a set, don't jump up for that next set. Make sure that you're good all the way across, then move up in weight. Take plenty of time to work through these, at least 20 minutes today. That way you can give yourself a good 2-minute rest in between lifts. Going heavier, looking for that maximum speed and power today So keeping that in mind, it takes a while for that fast twitch stuff to recharge. Take at least 2 minutes rest in between those sets. Good luck on your strength work today. We'll see you guys back in a bit for our Metcon.